Hey guys, hoping all is well with everyone. So in this video we're going to be continuing our read along of the Secret Zoo Raids and Rescues, and today we're going to be continuing on starting with chapter 40, and as always please feel free to follow along, and I hope you guys enjoy the read today, and let's jump into it. Chapter 40, The Shadows. The Shadowist walked down the corridor, his face concealed by the brim of his hat. He stopped in front of the scouts, less than 10 feet away, and stood with his hands clasped behind his back. For what seemed a long time, he didn't move. Then he walked forward and stopped less than a foot from the glass. The scouts crowded against the back wall of the secret Crabaquarium, Ella with her arms around Noah. The crabs continued to swim around, pinching at their legs. "What do you want?" Noah yelled. DeGraff only tipped his head to one side in a casual, curious way, as if he weren't staring into an aquarium full of kids, but one with fish. He reached up a gloved hand and stroked his shadowy chin. Then he touched his palm to the glass and drummed his fingers against it. He can't get us, can he?" Ella softly spoke. DeGraff moved his head for a better look at them, and subsequently revealed his face. Or what was left of it. For the first time, Ella saw the dark skull cavities where DeGraff's eyes and nose should have been, the flesh missing above his top teeth, the gash exposing his jaw. The skin on his neck bubbled out and an insect crawled beneath it. He turned and walked slowly to the middle of the corridor, its only torch at his back. His shadow was stretched out across the floor in front of him, onto the tank, and across the water beside the scouts. Beneath it, several crabs were thrashing about, their claws striking out at nothing. But DeGraff's interest, Noah knew, wasn't in the crabs. It was in him and Ella, and just as he had thought, DeGraff began to walk down the corridor, easing his shadow toward them. Noah noticed the silhouette of his fedora moving across the stony back wall of the Crabaquarium. "His shadow!" Noah called out. "Move! Move!" Ella understood at once, and together they splashed toward the end of the aquarium. They passed cleanly through DeGraff's shadow, Noah feeling a twinge of its magic in a short time. DeGraff began to follow them, bringing his shadow along. "Keep going," Noah said. Ella dove forward, swimming with wild, careless strokes. Noah stopped at the face of the corridor, his palms against the glass. "Right here, you freak!" Noah screamed, trying to lure the Shadowist away from his friend. DeGraff's shadow slithered across the water was like a living thing. Then it cloaked Noah, who gazed down at his arms, his chest. Nothing was happening. But just as he had this thought, the right side of his body jerked. A second later, his left side spasmed, and then his right again. Pain shot through him, and noises dimmed beneath a high-pitched squeal. "Noah, no!" someone called out. Noah wondered who it had been. Richie? No, it had sounded like a girl. He tried to think of his sister's name and couldn't. His head. Something was wrong. His arms thrashed and Noah twisted to face the back of the aquarium. He saw DeGraff's shadow on the wall. It had become one with his, the fedora seeming to sit on Noah's head. Then Noah lost sight of the world as his eyes rolled back. His knees gave out and he slumped to one side, sinking into the water. Powerless to raise his head, Noah became certain this was the place he was going to die. Chapter 41. Ella takes a swing. Ella splashed over to Noah, calling his name. "Up! Noah, get up!" As he struggled through the water, one strap of Tameron's pack slipped off her shoulder and caught in the crook of her arm. He turned it to its former spot, cursing the pack, which had been good for nothing. Only Tameron could... A thought grabbed her. Was Tameron the only person who could use the backpack? Or could anyone? Could she? She remembered back to the time she'd seen Tameron decked out in his descender gear. Had she ever noticed what he did to join the tail to his body. No, but Sam opened zipper on his jacket to release his wings, and Hannah tugged pull loops to alter her boots. She looked at the backpack straps and noticed that, near her shoulders, 2 cords disappeared into holes circled by velvet patches. She grabbed one in each hand and then hesitated. But somewhere beneath the choppy water, Noah was thrashing about, drowning in DeGraff's power. She pulled the cords, 2 clicks sounded inside the pack, and then a great weight dropped from her shoulders. Something had fallen out, and she was certain what it was. Tameron's tail. One end seemed to grab on the base of her spine, and brief pain shot through her body. Her mind sparked, and she suddenly became aware of her tailbone, the muscles there. She peered over her shoulder to see the long appendage half floating in the water. The canvas pack was somehow fused in the back of Ella's shirt, which now looked like the armored plate of an animal. Ella put all her attention on the tail and tried to make it move. It immediately rose like a serpent, water pouring off its sides. Then it hovered several feet in the air. 15 feet long, its armor was studded with spikes, most of them at the tip. Without wasting another second, Ella turned in a circle and commanded the tail to swing with all its might. The monstrous appendage flew through the air, and when it struck the front of the aquarium, the wall shattered, sending the spray of glass at DeGraff, who ducked and covered his head. Hundreds of gallons of water spilled out, and the small tidal wave knocked DeGraff down and pushed him against the wall. The scouts washed out into the corridor. It took only seconds for the flood to subside. Ella ran across the wet floor to Noah, her tail swinging up pieces of broken glass, and fell to her knees beside her friend. As she heaved up by his shoulders, his eyes rolled back into his head. "Noah!" she said, and then shook him. She noticed that DeGraff was slowly rising to his feet, and then she slapped Noah across his face. Hard. His eyes turned, and his oversized pupils shrank in the flickering torchlight. He coughed, and water dribbled down his chin. Ella looked back and saw the Shadowist standing. He straightened his fedora and then advanced on the scouts, his boots splashing on the wet stone. She rose and turned to face him, her tail curling behind her. "What are you doing?" Noah managed to say. But Ella didn't respond. She simply stepped toward DeGraff, whipping around Tameron's tail and bringing his mighty power as a descender with her. And I'll stop the video there, ending chapter 41. But I hope you guys enjoyed the video. As always, please take good care of yourselves and be safe. And I look forward to seeing you guys next time, where we continue our read-along of the Secret Zoo as we continue towards the conclusion of Raids and Rescues. But I'll see you guys soon, and as always, take good care. Bye.